Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. I am Brett Chapin. That is James Mooney.
Hello, everybody.
We're
having a great time
making him
here.
laugh.
I know. We're gonna save it for the show, boys.
Totally.
Who are we talking to? We're talking to publicist Ken Werther and creative artist / performer Michael Noah Levine. Michael, you're too loud. Just settle
I know
down.
he
all
talks
right?
so
You just-
I know. Can't get a word in.
Jeez.
And we're going to be back to talk to Michael in the next segment, but finishing up with Ken Werther. We were talking about some of the things that Los Angeles theaters and producers can do to improve the quality of theater in LA. And
Yeah.
you said,
And what you were telling me before about the great production of Color Purple.
Yes.
I think that's something that people should go and see.
Yes.
I'm excited to see it now.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing, and by the way, people, I am not actually representing this show. I know a lot of people involved with it, but regardless of that, if I had just gone to see it, I would want to be sitting here talking to you about it because it is.
And that's the best endorsement.
Well, you know, thank you. I think
It is.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, yes,
It is. I have absolutely nothing to do with this program, but you should still go see it.
Absolutely. It is so beautiful, and it is remarkable what they have achieved in a 65-seat space. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. And I guess the reason that in terms of what we were talking about a second ago, you cannot get a ticket to see this show. You know, everyone's always talking about, and I myself obviously too, all the shows that I work on that get good notices, that we feel like have good word of mouth, and we can't get people to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Now, conversely, I've worked on shows that got lousy reviews, but the audiences are loving them, and the tickets are flying out the door.
Yeah.
And Brett and I first met last year when I was working on a show called Caught, that was supposed to run for 7 weeks and ran for 9 months.
Excellent.
Because for the first 7 months, it was completely sold out, every single performance in an 84-seat house. So things do hit. You know what I mean? And my struggle in my professional world is, after all my years of doing this, sometimes, most of the time, I still can't tell you why something goes or doesn't go unless it's as obvious as a rave review. Just to give you a quick, I know we don't have a lot of time, but the last line of the LA Times review of The Color Purple said something about the intimate theater scene and how sometimes there's way more beautiful stuff going on than in the larger theaters. And the last line said, La Mirada, Pantage's Center Theater Group, are you watching?
Well, that's cool.
And everybody was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And
calling them out. Yeah.
And by the
that's really
next
cool.
by the next day, the next 3 weekends were completely sold out. So, you know, when it all comes together like you always hope it will,
Yeah.
it's like a runaway train.
Yeah.
But it's, unfortunately, it's rare. You
And
know,
that-
more often you're struggling, not that everything's, God knows, a bomb, but you're constantly struggling to get people in to see things. You know, listen,
tell
I
me
like
about
to
it.
think, right? I mean,
Tell me about it.
I like to think that the shows that I work on are all quality.
Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes it doesn't turn out that way. Fortunately for me, the press knows I didn't make the show. I'm just, you know, getting paid, hopefully, to provide a service to the show. But when I've got something really great, in fact, I'm working on a show right now called The Bewildered Herd, which is at the Greenway Court Theater. When Brett and James and I were talking about this before the show, I forgot all these titles.
I've got the
What are you
pedestrian
working
and
on, Brett said?
aftershock.
Yeah,
and-
like after. Yeah, really. Yeah, we'll talk about those next time.
Okay.
This play, The Bewildered Herd, is a new American play. This is a world premiere. Really interesting subject matter. Really fabulous cast of 5. Beautifully directed. Now, of course, this is my personal opinion. I'll give you that. You know, everything is terribly subjective in this world. But the reviews were very lukewarm. And even though, after all my years, I still say to producers, you just don't know what the critics are going to do.
Yeah.
You just don't know. I was still surprised by these reviews because when I saw the play, I thought, whoa.
Sometimes you can be shocked.
Now we're talking.
Is that still running, or?
It is. It's actually running 2 more weekends until the 20th of May, actually.
Yes.
It's at the Greenway Court Theater on Fairfax, just up the street from Cantor's Deli.
Ooh, love it.
So, so I
Dinner
highly
and a show,
recommend
people.
that. Yeah.
Nice.
And I
Talk about
recommend-
making theater easy.
Well,
park at Cantor's and then walk up the street.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of parking, free parking.
Oh,
right
yeah,
next to the
I'm in.
theater.
Talk about a corporate sponsorship. Cantor's Deli. Are you listening?
There's a good one.
Right? I want
plug.
free corned beef sandwiches.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us, Ken. If you have any,
my pleasure.
want to find any information about Ken, go to kenwerther.com, WERTHER. Julie in Rochester, New York. I know you're on the phone already for Michael Noah Levine, so we'll be right back with you.
Ooh.
And we'll be back on La La Land with Brett and James Mooney on CRN Digital Talk.